50. Up next, it's the final Sunday of November edition of Talking Horses with Andy Serling and Anthony Stabile.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses. He's the Big A, Anthony Stabile. I am Andy Serling, as it is the last day of November.
No, it's the next to last day of November.
Last day of November we race,
Yes.
excuse me.
Yes, that's correct.
I know there's 30 days in November.
Yes.
The one day that's under 30 is February. I'm pretty solid on that. I haven't hit that point.
It's been a long year.
Yet.
It's been a long year. I thought maybe you got your calendar.
The last day of the Fox show today for the year, for 2020.
Yep.
How you doing?
It's been a long...
Good racing, though. Even Thursday's
How about
card,
the Thursday card?
which I'm sure you just went right through last night.
Fired right through it last night.
I'm finished.
Yeah. But
89 betting interests in 9 races. No, it's strong.
Sensational.
Yeah, good card.
Sensational for December 3rd.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Pretty good is right.
Pretty good. Looking forward to
Takes action
Cigar
today.
Mile.
Forza Gioro, your horse. 101 buyer is very impressive.
Yeah.
No, he's really, you're right about him. He's really turned it around. He's really
Bill was, I take no credit. Bill Mott lies like this horse from day one, and like I said, he
was wrong last year. He's right this year.
The looks that we gave each other after the Remsen last year upstairs was something had to have gone wrong. And
well,
obviously,
he wasn't winning the Remsen based on his 2-year-old form.
Right, but based on the way he
yesterday,
ran,
he's improved a lot as a 3-year-old. As a 2-year-old, he was okay, but he wasn't fast.
I wonder what you do with him now, Andy. What do you do with him? Do you go down to Florida to run the race formerly known as the Don?
I would point him to the race formerly known as the Don. I would point him to that race. I don't understand. Who's he supposed to be so afraid of in there? Nix Go's going to get a 1 1/8. They're going there now. Bodemeister, where's he going with Nix Go in that race? Code of Honor. I mean, who are the Tigers that are going there? Is Mucho Gusto going to get him back in training, and he's going to run there? Where's he been? And you're supposed to be scared of him? I mean, if I'm Bill Mott, I think I got the horse who's covering this race as good as anybody. I mean, obviously Nix Go's been running big figures, but we'll see if he can do it down there at a 1 1/8.
And he certainly looks like a horse that, he won at the 1 1/8 already. It doesn't look like distance is going to be a problem for him.
Oh no, and Bill Mott has never been scared of taking chances in spots. He's not a trainer who's afraid to take a shot, and I don't see why you wouldn't.
I was thinking about this the other day, right? Because I got into an argument with somebody the other day about how Bill runs his horses. Not afraid. He ran a horse like Cigar Street in the Classic day. You remember this? Cigar Street was like the end of 2012, the allowance type. He wound up in the Breeders' Cup Classic in 2013.
I had this discussion on the show with Greg a little bit earlier, where he said, "Will you consider him a conservative trainer?" And I said, "Absolutely not." I said, not in the least. I consider Bill a guy who's always ready to take a shot, and it's worked out for him.
He's an old school horseman. He runs his, listen, his hands on
We need to go, or we'll be here.
Okay.
We'll be here for an hour longer. Head over to Naira Bets if you're not a member. $200 will match for $200 your initial deposit. Also want to remind people, last day this year of the cross-country big fights with Churchill. I'm not saying we won't have them elsewhere. I have no idea if we will or won't. But the cross-country Big 5 today, race 7 at Aqueduct, race 8 at Aqueduct, race 9, interspersed with races 5 and 6 at Churchill as well.
Our 3 stakes races.
Our 3 stakes. Thank you, Anthony. That's the final one with Churchill today, as it's closing day at Churchill Downs. And also, we've got that bonus. If you bet 25 to win Aqueduct and Del Mar, you get a $10 bonus. Wow. Now you're in.
Closing day.
Now you're in. All right. Matriarch there later in the card. Grade 1, last Grade 1. The only Grade 1s left this year, there's 5. Can you name them?
The Starlet.
Oh, is that a Grade 1? Then there's more.
Still a Grade 1.
Then there's more.
Starlet, the Cigar.
Is this
the Malibu?
Is the Futurity out there? Is there?
That's a Grade 2 now. Okay. That got demoted last year.
Okay, so the Malibu, the La Brea, and the American Oaks on opening day on the 26th at Santa Anita. Race number 1. Race number 1. Let's show Clemenza and Instinctive Rhythm running 2nd and 3rd at Monmouth, because the biggest lock on today's card is Nancy would have Kelly Breen's Clemenza on top. I'm going to tell you something. I know that Instinctive Rhythm came out of this race and ran a big figure here running 2nd, a track with some moisture in it. I wasn't impressed with this race. I had a lot of trouble with today's first race, to be honest with you.
I don't disagree.
I won't be shocked if anyone 2 through 5 wins this race. I don't like the 6 at all. I think he's a joke. He's currently 3 to 5, and he's so bad you didn't even pick him on top. But I guess it was a battle of. I guess if Rosario was still in town, he was on the Clement horse, then you would have. I mean, that would have been angst for you, right? Clement, Rosario against Kelly Breen. How would you have slept?
Don't you have that day as a big inside and big speed, and 12th man just kind of ran around there, and he chased him from the outside? I mean, he
Anthony,
made it around on the outside.
let me give you a hint. If you're not going to watch races, don't tell people how they played out in the show, because this horse was on the rail the entire way until they came in the stretch when he angled outside of 12th man. So he didn't chase him outside the whole way. So don't say that.
But he chased him outside through the lane. I mean,
so what? You said the whole way. No. What do I think?
But he didn't have any speed.
I think he had an absolute dream setup in that race, and I think he stunk. Well, I'd be shocked if he wins here. Mildly.
I don't know, Andy.
Well, I don't know. You based your supposition on something that wasn't true. He did not chase outside. He got him to the rail extremely early in the race, stayed there until he hit the stretch, and then he had to go inside. And let me say something else. Both 12th man and he both drifted off the rail. So neither one were on the rail in the stretch. So no, I don't like Determined Fury. I think he rode the bias that day, and I think he stunk. And I think there's too much going on in this race to like him. I'm not sure I agree with David. Why would Instinctive Rhythm be a shorter price than Clemenza? Clemenza beat him. He came back with the 84 buyer.
Well, yeah, I think the race. I think the turf race is going to confuse. It confused me. I was a little confused.
Why
by
they put him on the turf?
Well, I don't know.
Should we just chalk it up as dumb?
I mean, I don't have a good answer for you. I really don't. I wish I did.
So well, first time out, it made no sense. Maybe no maiden races came up and such, but there was that one. There was the one that Instinctive Rhythm ran.
There was the one. Now maybe he could. Maybe he.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm going to take Oh Trouble, who I'm not particularly thrilled with. We better start moving, or we're going to run out of time on this show. Oh Trouble's a new gelding. I don't love Oh Trouble. Don't get me wrong, but he's run as fast, and not faster than everybody. I thought he'd be a better price. He's a new gelding. I put him on top. I'm scared of the first or Growl Tiger. The horse I have to horse that ran an 87 buyer on dirt and is a declaration of war, and he's a Speightstown.
The problem here is a first-time starter can absolutely win this race for the simple fact that just don't know if these horses are really any good. I'm
going to disagree with you there. I think all these horses are capable of running buyer figures around 80, and a first-time starter has to be a little better than just mediocre.
I'll save all my Clemenza lines for the next time he runs.
There you go. Race number 2. That's a good chance. Good choice. Race number 2 was a tough race because until you saw the scratches, you didn't know. And they actually came out at 10:15 today, so they were out 15 minutes before the race. Shocking. I guess Mass Marauder's the horse to beat. I've got him third. You've got him on top.
Yeah. He's getting. This is a horse. I know he ran a couple of faster races on the dirt. He just looked looked more comfortable on the turf.
I'm getting sick of him.
That's fine. I'm giving him one more chance.
They're running
on
him
the
every 2 weeks. They can't run him often enough. This spot comes up. Let's just put him in.
Well, hold on.
They're not running him like it's a good horse.
But they want to give him one more chance on the turf, and they're running out of time.
But now he's got to be a 6 furlong. Baloney. They're running on the dirt.
See, I think my argument for liking him today is
they ran him back 2.5 weeks in the dirt.
He gets to sprint on the turf today, and I think that
why do we know
could
he's going to do that?
be what he wants to do because his sprint race, his first race.
Isn't his form declining?
I mean, look, they ran him in the Sleepy Hollow, and then he caught a muddy track.
So what?
I thought his turf race was good, and now he's going to get the turf sprint. I don't know. I got to give him one more chance. And I don't know. You know, the other scratches are going to hurt him. I don't know if he's necessarily going to be a favorite in here.
He's going to be favored.
Do you think so? I thought the Todd Firster would take some money in here. The number 6, Perfect Munnings. I just did.
Well, I hope he does.
David has the horse second choice at 7-2 on the morning line.
I know Todd won with a first and turf, but it's not something he does well. I'm going to stick to horses like the number 10, Dancing Buck, who's damn frivolous buck. It's a picture in my office of frivolous buck.
I know.
He's actually a pretty good turf runner. He's produced 2 horse try to turf, 1 with an 84 buyer. I'm going to use that horse with Kendrick for Michelle Nevin, who seems to have been live. I'm going to use Bulgari, the 8 for Jim Bond, who's a full de Gratz, who is okay on the turf as well. And even the 7, Mr. Hot Chaka, who's a half to 2 turf winners, and they were pretty good. 2 out of 4.
Like the cha-cha.
Cha-cha.
Yeah, you don't cha-cha.
I get the 11, but I wonder if there are some Versers in here that might be okay. Yeah. The 11's horse to beat. I don't have a big issue with it. I'm just kind of tired of that horse.
I don't
disagree. Seems like
I want to give him one chance turf sprinting.
He's running his 5th race, since like the end of Saratoga.
I know.
That's a lot. I mean, it's fine, but it's a lot. Race number 3, I thought, was a very, very tricky race. And my basic thing in race number 3 is I thought there were 4 horses that could win. The 2 Baker's Bay, the 5 Obsessed, the 8 Compliant, and the 9 Bluegrass Parkway. We'll take a look at Compliant's last race. He was best in here. He did have some traffic, but ultimately I would say that Jose Ortiz gave him a great ride because he managed to get him through when he finally got up. Chad doesn't have great numbers for what it's worth. Off of maiden wins in turf routes, he's 24% with a $1.49 ROI with 183 stars, which is a fine stat. It's just they all take more money than they should, so the ROI is like around 3-2. And for what it's worth in routes, from 10 furlongs to really just 12 furlongs, he's 1 for 9 with a 6-10 ROI, and 7 of them were short prices. So they haven't come back and won, and I don't know how good this horse is. I thought he should be short, and I'm not a huge fan.
He ran 2 bigger figures with the blinkers on. This horse was a little bit more, this horse had a little bit of a bigger kick with the blinkers off in his 2 races. He came with a nice little run, and I think the blinkers kind of dulled him a little bit. I'm sorry?
Maybe just be weaker horses.
Maybe he did.
He ran faster Bayer speed figures with blinkers on.
So
I
know I said that. I feel like this horse,
got no
he
pace
looks a
to run
little
at
more enthusiastic.
He got no pace to run at 2 back, and he was running against inferior horses last time. Maybe. Not impossible. What do you like about Glen County?
I feel like, Mike Baker hasn't won a lot of races at this meet, but I feel like the horses are all running. I think this horse is going to be a horse.
He did beat Sid Fitch, right?
I think this horse, listen, I know who he beat. I know.
Are you sure?
He's bringing him back quick. I think this horse is going to love the added ground.
Why?
He's by Kitten's Joy out of a rock hard 10 mare.
Okay.
I mean, I would imagine he's
mean?
going to I just think this horse is going to get a little pace to run at in here, and he gets a lot of distance.
You get a little pace to run at? What track did we move to? You going to keep with this pace nonsense? We never get pace here, so stop it. Stop it.
You got to stop.
You got to stop using that as an argument, because it's a pat argument and it doesn't turn out to be true. No, we're not going to get any pace to run at. No, it's a turf race going a mile and 3/8. No, we're not going to get any pace to run at.
I have to think Obsessed is going to go. I have to think Baker's Bay has plenty of gas.
Yeah, Junior's going to send him. Because you know Junior. I tell you what, there's nothing that Junior Alvarado loves more than coming out of the gate, pumping away. I mean, he loves going to the lead.
Man,
How many? Let me
today.
ask you a question. Seriously, and I think Junior's a terrific rider, as you know.
He doesn't.
Let me ask you a question.
Let me ask you a question.
If you could find the last 1,000 starters from Junior, how many of them do you think were in front?
3. Yeah, but
no. Let me just argue. There's going to be a lot of pace in here.
Hold on.
You're out of your mind.
Obsessed has to go, and Baker's Bay has to be forward.
I think Obsessed will be in front, and Baker's Bay will be sitting second to him, and they'll be walking. Now, neither one of them has to win, but I think
I know it was inferior competition, but they went 50 and change last time, and he still came and ran them down.
Okay, as far as Baker's Bay, he's a funny horse for Shug, because he ran him at 6.5 furlongs, a mile and a 16th, and now a mile and 3/8. So he's going to cover the whole spectrum. My problem with the 2 Baker's Bay is...
In 10 weeks, right? I mean, that's I know the 6.5 doesn't really play as 6.5.
Abaco got better with more distance, the dam. But the funny thing is that Shug's going to have a horse that in the space of 3 races is going to win at 6.5 furlongs and win at 11 furlongs. Not with my money, but I would use him in here. I don't get your horse at all in this race. I know Obsessed is first on the turf and doesn't really have a ton of turf pedigree, though he is a more than ready. I thought that they'd go to the lead with him, and I was hoping he'd wire the field. It was more of a guess. I think Bluegrass Parkway is the horse to beat, the horse on the outside. I don't have a knock on him. He's logical. I did win already. I cashed a big double. The David Aragon will pick Dream Doctor and then Cowtown. He loves Cowtown. I was so happy, David, that you picked Cowtown today, because I know he's a pet of his, and you've got him. I thought you had him second.
No.
Oh, David loves Cowtown. Second. I'm rooting for him. All right, I'm just going to get this thing off. It just popped out. It's a mess here. Pace. Stop. Get a new argument.
How about traipsing yesterday? Traipsing almost stole that thing yesterday.
Yeah, I couldn't believe there was no pace in that race. Now, either, and you know I love Jose Lozano,
Instructions.
but either Dickinson gave him the worst instructions in the history of the game.
Instructions.
Michael, really?
Instructions.
That was a clever move by him. I assume they were, because Jose doesn't ride like that.
Jose Lozano never...
Well, I know that Michael Dickinson sends the Odyssey to every jockey to instructions.
Right, yes, exactly right.
Clever move.
He's reciting Homer before he tracks.
Well, why would you want to be forward in a paceless race?
I have no idea.
Why would one of the slowest horses in the race actually got beat at the wire because it went to the lead? Race number 4, we'll take a look at Adair's race. When Adair was scratched here the other day, I would assume was scratched because it came up wet.
The wet track,
Adair was good, and listen, he lost to the greatest horse in training right now.
Yeah, he actually put his head in front of Forzadoro.
Well, he ran a better race than Forzadoro.
Yeah, he did.
Now, Forzadoro was off a layoff, but he ran a better race.
Forzadoro was off for 10 months. Adair had the recency. Adair has the lead, and Forzadoro came to get some. Forzadoro looked like he was just going to roll on by here, and Adair would not go away. Andy mentioned the scratch, kind of late too, because we had talked about Adair, and then he had scratched after the program was over.
Well, it was pouring out. I think the weather got worse.
Yeah, weather got worse. Track came up really sloppy, and they scratched him. That was a sprint. Am I not mistaken? That was a 6.5 furlong race, right? So this is a mile and a 16th. There's a mile. You figure the mile and a 16th around on one turn. He was certainly very good at that last time. It was the best race of his career by far. If he runs that race, he's got these over that proverbial barrel, I think.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this one looked pretty. This one looked pretty easy. You know what happens though?
Well,
then, right?
hang on a second. First of all, races aren't easy. Second of all, there's a lot going on in this race. Family Biz comes off a big fig. I don't believe he can run him back, but he did run a big fig. Vince Hollywood's in great form for a guy whose horses seem to maintain form. Do you worry about the pace? See, I thought Fort Worth is going to lead. You seem to like the sound. I didn't like the sound, just 5-2 morning line. And my premise in here was to bet against him. I'll show you a stat for what it's worth at Naira for the Brad Cox barn. They don't have particularly good numbers coming off of wins. Maiden wins. I didn't like the sound in here at all. I don't trust that figure last time. Look at the horse he beat.
Yeah, look, I just figured that they're going to be. I don't know about Fort Worth really wanting the mile. Maybe we'll find that out today. I figured they would be 1-2 in some order. Logic dictates that Fort Worth is going to be in front of the sound.
Well,
I feel like the sound's a little faster, but I think with the riders, you're going to see.
He's not. Fort Worth's very quick.
Yeah.
Fort Worth will probably be in front unless there's an incident at the gate. Fort Worth has won at a mile. I don't like his last race, but he got it done. His form's a little bit, but I was a little worried that maybe if a horse beat Adair, they could beat him up front. I don't think this is a gimme. I think Adair ran very well last time and is a likely winner of this race, but I don't view these races the same way you do. I think that there's other stuff going on in here. It's one thing when you've got a decent horse against a bad field. This is not a bad field.
No, I didn't say it was a bad field, but I think this horse kind of found his home last time.
We'll see.
You know, in Southern California, they're kind of handcuffed to 7 furlongs at Santa Anita or Del Mar, or they got to go to 2 turns. So,
we'll see. We'll see.
I think the 1-turn mile.
This is not a weak field. This is not a weak field he's running in. Race number 5. We'll take a look at Caramel Swirl. We'll look at the start, and this horse is not going to be 8-5. It's going to be 2-5.
Malathot came back and
won the stake. Caramel Swirl sort of didn't come out as particularly strongly, and this horse really ran and only lost because
actually hooks Malathal here, and Malathal again on that good ride and that good rail just was able to hold Caramel Swirl off. Another instance though, Andy, where we saw it with Adair and Forzadoro. Caramel Swirl not going away here, really staying with Malathal till the end, and that was the key for me here. She only has to. She's actually cutting back in distance from 7 to 6.5. 2 big efforts from 2 fillies.
That?
Not at all. I mean, these 2 fillies.
Not at all.
These 2 fillies are the goods.
No, Mr. Distance.
No.
Not at all.
I'm not worried about that.
As good as Bill Mott.
Well, if she would have, I mean, the other filly had a rail position. No, Leanna was in the winner's circle with Forzadoro. Leanna Williford, who's done an amazing job for Bill.
She's worked for Bill for a long, long time.
Yeah, almost 2 decades. So,
no, this is a good horse. It's going to take an unusually good first or other horse to beat. I've got the 9 Paradise Song second. I always respect Mike Trombetta's horses. Chad Brown as a first-time starter. The Dam was actually a Mott horse. It's all Mott everywhere. Yep. The Dam of the Chad Brown horse, Precipitate, was a Mott horse as well.
Paradise Song spun to run last year's British Cup Dirt Mile winner. So
is he coming back anytime soon?
He was retired in August, I believe.
I can't believe I missed that.
That's a sore point with me.
Why?
The amount of horses from the middle to end of Saratoga to right before the Breeders' Cup that were retired, that I had no idea were still in training. There has to be somebody in one of these positions that can alert us to this.
It has been a strange year. We've got the late pick 5 to go, including 3 stakes. We'll be back after a quick break.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. In one of the greatest upsets in the history of Talking Horses, Anthony Stabile did not pick technical analysis on top in race number 6. But we're all going to have to wait for the logic behind not picking technical analysis on top, and we'll look at that race in the bog where technical analysis finished 3rd and Wow finished 2nd. Wow got a great trip. He was the only one that got a good trip in that race. I actually thought that Single Soul had a wild trip in that race. I don't know if he's in our, and even Irish Crush, the horse in Bobby Flay silks, you're watching him, he's getting shuffled. He's in those orange and yellow Bobby Flay silks. I like those silks, they're easy to see. Getting shuffled completely out of the race. He's actually behind technical analysis, who was forward, and then he dropped back, and he was taken out of the race, and he couldn't find room to run, and had he gotten a more clear trip, he would have won this race and won it easily. Wow gets that nice inside trip, and everything opens up in the rail, and Eric just stays there, and it all works out. He's got to push his way a little bit there, but it all works out. Technical analysis is sort of left for dead. Even the number, today's 11, Irish Crush, is back there in those silks, gets some running room inside and does a little bit of running. Technical analysis is flying once he gets clear. Now, the problem with this race is it was a bog. And while this course obviously has given it, and it's not nearly the kind of course we had that day, will they all run as well? I think technical analysis showed he's a pretty good horse. I don't think you disagree.
I don't.
But you're trying to beat him with 3rd draft, because those stretch outs from sprint stirrup routes, they work all the time.
This horse made up some ground first time out. This is shug on the stretch out.
Is there a big tip on this horse?
No, there was
no
tip
big
first
tip.
time. There was a tip first time on this
so
horse.
there's a tip.
There was a tip first time on a horse. Yeah. This horse apparently can run a little bit. I'm going to try this horse. You see, when I took a look at the morning line as well, I mean, I think technical analysis is going to be short in here. No?
2-1, yeah.
Yeah. I thought I was going to get 6 or 7 to 1 on the short horse. No?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't. But
You
maybe
think Wow's going to take money? A couple of second place finishes?
I think technical analysis will get better at that race.
I think they'll bet I think they'll bet Clement because Clement's on fire.
Well, I don't think that was on fire. That horse ran okay first time out. I think Single Soul ran okay.
They got to bet Stunning Princess here,
Well,
right?
see, this is actually the horse I'm scared of.
Yeah.
Stunning Princess, because we'll take a look at her second place to Ingracia. My guess is, even though potentially your horse has speed, I have to think that Kendrick is going with Stunning
She's the
Princess.
speed, right?
Well, she's not necessarily the fastest horse, but I think she'll be in front in here.
Couple of stakes
And the other
winners
thing
she's getting
is,
beat by.
Gargan, they knew Gargan was going to win yesterday. The horse ran off the screen and got like an 80 buyer in the first race. Gargan won this race last year, I think. I think he wired this race at like $50 last year.
With the
That
with the
Kitten's
kitten
Joy,
horse?
who went down to Florida and ran some good races. Stunning Princess ran against good horses. Ingracia, Plum Ali, these are all stake winners. I don't know what happened up in Canada.
She didn't do any running last time. Now she's gone 2 months. You think she's going to come back with a big race?
This horse scares me.
Yeah.
Because this horse goes to the front. This is the kind of horse that'll be in front, and I'll just say, they're not going to catch him. I'm scared of Stunning
That's
Princess
how I looked
in
at
this
it.
race.
I looked at it as 3, 6, and 9. I figured that Chad's horse would be a little short. I don't know what happened with Stunning Princess last time, but Danny's horses are waking up a little bit. The maiden win the first race yesterday, took a big late punch. I just put the Sugar horse on top.
I think Wow can win this race. I don't think yours is impossible. I don't really like him, but I don't think he's impossible in here at all. I think Irish Crush and Single Soul can win this race. This is a loaded field. This is a potentially strong field.
Yeah.
There's some okay horses potentially. In
Second half of the whole card's fantastic. Second half of the card's real strong with the
Could not agree
Which
more.
we get to now.
Race number 7. As we look at the videos for race number 7,
The Autumn Days, by the way.
The Autumn Days.
That's what we're in, Andy.
It's almost winter days.
We're in the Autumn Days. Winter is coming.
There's my Sassy Sarah who gets in with a scratch, and that's an important scratch. And I tell you something, I should have put her in my top 4 in case there was a scratch, and I didn't, and I was remiss to do it. I think you did, right?
I didn't.
No, Aragona did. He put the horse second. He was smart. She ran well in here. She really did. I mean, she got completely and totally left. Now, they get left other times. Sometimes they get left again. That concerns me. Lee Guitar, I don't have an argument against her. You've got her on top, I got her second. But
Yeah.
she's in great form. I just don't want a particularly short price on her. But
That's fine.
She's way the worst to beat.
That's our only knock. I mean, that's
No,
really her only knocking here, right? She's going to be a short price, but she has been.
She might have moved too soon in this race.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not blaming Luis Saez, but she probably moved too soon and
I
still
don't disagree.
won. I mean,
You know, she's handled 3 different courses in her last 3
Handles-
starts.
yeah.
I have no knocks on her. And
She's
I'm
the worst
just
to
gonna, yeah, she's the worst to beat, and I'm not going to. I really am not. I'm not going to try.
I'm going to try a great time. There's a great time beating Ode to Joy at Pimlico, and I will agree that this race collapsed last time, and it definitely fell into their laps. The thing I'll say is that a great time isn't a deep closer, and I hope that the connections in Jose Ortiz, Mike Trombetta, they don't decide this is the way she wants to run,
Right.
because there is considerably less pace in today's race, so I don't see any reason that she can't be forward and maybe get a similar trip to Lindesort. By the way, Lindesort really 101 buyer. Big day for the Paul Pompa
Yeah,
connection.
it was good to
Was that
see.
great? That was like
Yeah.
really,
Yeah, turned aside,
really
really.
great.
Turned aside, got that.
This horse can run.
That Kentucky
this horse-
Downs out of his system yesterday. He got back to some home.
This
cooking, got
horse's
the job
last
done.
race, a great time in the license fee, was a very good effort beyond Aliana Lakash and Delika. I think, I know we missed the boat last out of price, but you're going to get a price again at a great time. And I thought this horse could win back.
Yeah, I'm using her. I'm certainly using her.
she's
She's 6 to 1 on the
dangerous.
morning line. She'll probably be right around that price. Yeah, there was nothing wrong with her race last time. Like you said, she was. You know, you can almost be a little bit more impressed with the fact that she was kind of out of her games as far back as she was, and she was still managed to pass basically the entire field and get the job done.
Yeah. If this horse, Madeline Must, takes any money, that helps eliminate the takeout, because only Anthony could have this horse on top. Boy, if Rosario was on this horse, you'd probably have this
I
horse
never
on
on
top.
top. I have a second.
No, I said, if Rosario was on it, you're on top.
No,
This was about as lucky a win as. Now, yesterday we showed 3 tough beats for Christophe. This one is in the oeuvre of Cremont's very fortunate wins, because
I like that.
this was not, first of all, a weak field, and second of all, I mean, if you could have gotten a better trip with her.
No.
You'd have to. I don't
No.
like her at all in here. I get it. He's taking a shot, coming back on short rest. I think Aliana Lakash is going to run okay. What about Risky Mischief? Could she be the now horse?
I wonder if Risky Mischief might need a little more ground. I know
Why?
she won going 5.5, but that was against state breds. And I know last time.
God, she was an hour. The best race she ever ran was 2 back at 6 furlongs. No,
But she was again. But Andy, she's
Don't butt
she's
me.
running against.
You have a crazy notion, which I completely disagree with.
Okay. She
She ran super.
She's taking a big.
She ran super 2 back in Christophe Clement's 137th unbelievable lucky
Yeah,
win.
Love got loose on the front end that day in a slow pace.
In a ridiculous pace. She
Yeah.
ran unbelievably. Her
did.
best race was at
Look,
6 furlongs.
You know,
She probably isn't better at
she's
7.
taking-
She's probably
she's
better
taking-
shorter.
She's taking a pretty big step up in class.
She is. I agree. But she could be the now horse at the
could.
right time. And I don't want to be totally dismissive of her. I prefer others, but I'm going to use her in this race. You've got her third. It's not like
No.
You just muddied your picks by putting the ridiculous 8 in there. You think how much more damage you could have done in this race if you hadn't had that allegiance.
I really like lead guitar.
You really like the favorite.
I really
Anthony
like
really
it.
likes the favorite. Thank you for that.
Nothing I go. Listen, nothing I can do about it.
Well-
Sometimes you got to take the lollipop they give you.
Race number
That's
8. I thought the fall high weight was a really tough race. I don't trust anybody in this race. Well, look at Majestic Dunhill beating Share the Ride. And, you know, we're now going to show back-to-back sensational Joel Rosario rides. Are you worried that Majestic Dunhill is not going to get the right trip at 6 furlongs? Are you worried about you talk about distance.
I am.
Isn't this a bit of a concern?
Here's what I'm a little worried about it, but I will say this. This horse obviously needs to be kept closer to the pace. If that's not apparent by the last 2 races, I don't know what is. Now,
can
I
he be?
understand he got, the
Well,
pace
no.
last time was
I don't
kind of
agree with that.
dawdling.
He needs to be close to the pace if the pace is slow. If he gets a fast pace, he doesn't need to be close to the pace. He's got to get a more honest pace today with the presence of Tribeca.
Yeah,
We'll
but
get
I
to it.
also I think they've figured out that this horse doesn't need to be 7, 8, 9 lengths off the lead. I'm hoping they keep him closer regardless of how fast the pace is. Look, Tribeca's in here. And Tribeca and
We'll
a
get
horse
to
like
him in a
Share the
minute. We'll get to him
Ride,
in a minute.
you know,
Well, let's talk
always,
about Share the Ride. My feeling with him is if he couldn't win the Bold Ruler, why is he supposed to win here unless you just
Couldn't
think
agree
6
with you. I
furlongs is
couldn't agree
better?
with you more.
I can't take him in this race.
couldn't agree with you
I
more.
won't be shocked if he wins. I won't be shocked if a handful of horses win here. I like Stan the Man. You know, Stan the Man's a funny pick for me because based strictly on his speed figures recently, he's not good enough. And listen, when he won this race at Tail of the Cat, he got a dream setup.
He really
Having said
did.
that,
Another Joel Rosario just sat there and just let them
second to
come
Frenzy
him.
Fire in the True North off a layoff. Last time trying to go a mile against Complexity and Code of Honor. I just feel like he's the one who can be a little bit closer and closer than Majestic Dunhill. He's better at 6 furlongs, and I just thought he might just be the right horse. But I don't have any confidence, Anthony.
No.
I'm not going to be shocked. Honestly, I won't be shocked if Majestic Dunhill wins. He certainly can. I won't be shocked if Stay the Ride win here. I don't like him, but I could see maybe 6 furlongs better. What about Tribeca?
What about Tribeca? I mean...
This Hudson was good.
Yeah.
Does he really class up to these horses? He was good in the air, but it's not the best year for the New York bred sprinters. Would you agree with that?
I'm not saying it is, but, you know, he's got the most dangerous weapon on the racetrack, and that's speed. And for some reason, would Share the Ride after, you know, blitzing them at Monmouth Park. They haven't been, and I know going to lead at Monmouth and the pay, they haven't been as aggressive with him. They tried to nurse him along in the Bold Ruler. Last time they went back to Parks and took him off the pace.
Oh, no. Tribeca's going to be in front.
Tribeca's going to be in front, and
he plays come and catch.
He's going to be, for me, I want to have a horse like him.
Okay.
I'm using a horse like him that's going to have the run of the race. And look, you want to talk about a horse that's in form. This horse has had some year, Andy.
He's been in form for a while now.
Yeah.
No, he's terrific. I'm a fan.
Rudy gelded him, when Rudy had him, Rudy gelded him back in January of last year.
I get uncomfortable whenever somebody says that.
No, Rudy gelded him in January or February of 2019. And since then, I mean, he's got a hiccup or two on his card, but for the most part, he's just been hickory.
I don't like him, but once again, I understand what you're saying, and he's a price, and I'm not gonna say he can't win. I'm a little interested in drafted.
Yeah, he's the 5th pick for me.
You know, I was confused. Do you remember who originally had this horse?
I could not figure it out last night.
Well, you could look it up.
Was it Wesley Ward?
You would think so, because he broke his maiden at 4.5 at Keeneland first out, but it was not Wesley Ward. It was Owen Hardy.
Wow.
Yeah. I was surprised by that. It was Owen Hardy who originally had him, and he had him for 3 starts. Actually, Owen Hardy.
That peculiar Florida, but I said to myself, this had to be Wesley because of the peculiar Florida.
Well, because he also ran the
pedigree.
Windsor Castle in his 2nd start at Ascot, but it was Owen Hardy, which surprised the heck out of me. And then he ran at Del Mar and didn't run very well.
Wow.
You know, this horse isn't a bad.
No.
And there's no killers in this field. And
No,
he's in my main man, David Duggan. You know, I can't. But David Duggan at a price.
I mean,
but the guy does. I mean, David Duggan at a price. I'm a fan. Where's he been? He was coming down from that big event in Saudi Arabia. New York Central. He lost to Gladiator King, too.
Where's he been? He got 60,000 for running 6th that day.
I'll never forget my friend Brian Nadeau, who is now doing the simulcast show at Fairgrounds. Wish Brian the best of luck. When he got an argument at Twitter King, when he started knocking who Hidden Scroll was dueling with in the Fountain of Youth, and I said, "You have no idea how good this horse." And he started his whole rant. The horse won like 4 straight sprint stakes after that.
That was the Gladiator King. Yeah.
Yeah. That was one of my favorite moments. Love Brian and hope Brian we do. We wish you the best of luck, Brian, down at Fairgrounds. Good addition to their program. Race number 9 is the Tepin. And listen, I'm not against Lovestruck, but you know, she has legit reasons we haven't seen her. She had a cough and she scratched. She also scratched out that bog closing weekend at Belmont. And at that point, you know, what's the point of running her? You missed the Breeders' Cup with her. She took a right turn. She should have come down. Let me ask you one question. Free of the Press didn't run badly last week. She lost to 2 very good horses. Both Mott's horse that won really ran, and I think Cherie DeVaux's first timer that ran second ran really well. But does it bother you? The Free of the Press ran 6 buyer points slower in her next start. Does that worry you at all?
A little bit.
It worries me a little, not a lot.
It's 3 months later now, too.
Yeah.
So, yes, it does worry me a little bit. But you've taught me this turf course, it's a little different.
Well, did you know that Lovestruck's going to love it?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
She's probably going to win, but David made her 7-5 and Invincible Gal 2-1. Are you going to be surprised when she's 3-5 here? She's got some aura around her, doesn't she?
I can't imagine she's not prohibitive in here.
Well, 7-5 is a pretty short price too.
You know, I agree.
Because the thing
Invisible
about
Gal coming back. I know she stakes face, but she comes back quick from the Breeders' Cup.
Let me say something else about Invisible Gal. She's dressed up off a 78 fig in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile fillies. She's never run a particularly big figure before. Now, Fluffy Socks has won 2 stakes.
Listen, her best race was the sprint.
Now, to be fair, though, Fluffy Socks didn't win, but she got beaten in the nose or in that race at Belmont. And you would think that maybe she liked a boggy turf, but Chad sent her out to California and she won that stake.
She won the Jimmy Durante.
Now, I don't know what fig she got, but was that yesterday? Seems like the figs weren't out for.
The Cecil DeMille's today. That's the Colt version. She won yesterday. The Jimmy Durante.
Would they? I really wish that Santa Anita would change the race, the Santa Anita Sprint Championship back to the ancient title. Can we start a grassroots movement to do that?
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
It's an ancient title is one of the great California breds of all. Will always be one of the first Calbred millionaire.
They name it something else.
Name it back for ancient title.
They're not going to go back.
Why?
You're talking about some, sometimes
it hurts me deeply to my core.
I know some days.
Deeply to my core.
I know you're a bit of a conservative individual when it comes to certain things, but there's a little bit of an anarchist in you. You want to go and really, you want to take it. You want to take tradition back. I like it. And listen, I'm on board with you, but
ancient
it's not happening,
title.
man. It's not happening.
I saw him win the Whitney. My first Whitney, 1975.
Wow,
I saw him win it live.
75.
Yeah. He came here and tackled the big boys in the East. He ran competitively with Forgo and
That's why he likes
he ran
him, but
third.
he came to Saratoga.
He ran third in the Marlboro Cup behind Wajima and Forgo.
Wow.
He was a monster, ancient title.
Marlboro Cup
He was a monster. It's my first trip to Belmont.
How great was that series?
My first trip to Belmont.
Series was awesome.
I'm going to take a small shot here, and it's funny. At Big of the Stores, I noticed today that I knew that Vic Risk was a Paul Pompa horse, and he won this 2 race yesterday. So talk about a guy who missed the boat. Not that I had a problem with the horse that won the stake today, but Fifth Risk is turf. This is the kind of turf pedigree I like. And do I think this horse is likely to beat Lovestruck? No, I don't. But I'm not a huge fan of Invisible Gal.
They nominated her in the Breeders' Cup. They preempted her.
Her dirt race was slow. Dirt or turf?
Turf. They preempted her in the turf, and she was down on the 80
She's the
list.
kind of pedigree I like. She's half the 2 horses tried turf, one of whom won, but both of them improved substantially from dirt to turf. So I won't be shocked if this horse takes a real move forward. I thought she was an interesting fuzzy year for Todd Pletcher, and I'm going to take a small shot with her. I'm not against Lovestruck. I just looked and I thought she's going to be such a short price. Do I really need her in this race? At super short price, she'll probably win though.
Yeah.
You've got a horse that picked third that rode the gold rail last time. Congratulations.
Stretching out.
The track trends page is your friend.
I remember that. Listen, you think I need to look? I know what she did.
Race number 10. Race number 10. My best handicapping is knowing who Anthony's going to pick, so let's take a look at the Belmont trained propensity. This is 2 back at Saratoga at 5.5 with Unprecedented finishing third. He's pretty logical here.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He was logical. His races, I mean, the last 2 really. I just thought they laid over this bunch.
I don't.
Okay. Obviously. You went in a different direction. I didn't know what to do with Montauk Daddy. I really don't know much to say about propensity.
I think propensity is fine. I think he's one of the very logical horses in here.
I thought long and hard about Montauk Daddy. I didn't know what to do with Montauk Daddy.
I think Grandma's favorite is somewhat logical in this race. I mean, that was a legit race last time. I like Montauk Daddy. I know this seems like sort of a give up, but I'm not sure they realize this horse, this horse in the Mad Money's race got completely left in a paceless race and probably would have won that race in a fairly run race. That was back in June. Then for one reason they tried a mile and the horse ran off into a ridiculous pace going a mile. Then they got reined off the turf. And then last time out, they were involved in a crazy fast pace in that huge rainstorm and that boggy course in a race that just completely incinerated. And now they're dropping down. Today's the day to see what he can do. I don't know. Propensity's okay. He'll have to run to beat him, but I think he will. That's what I got.
Listen.
I'm trying to enter Loris and get some tea in my office.
If this was 3 weeks ago, the drop would concern me more. But this is kind of the last chance you're going to get to.
Do you have a day that's the cutoff?
No, what I'm saying is there's no other chance to run this on the turf, and that's it. So the drop doesn't bother me as much because you don't want to sit on a horse like this for
Drops always bother me.
Yeah, but I mean,
at the end of the day, where's she supposed to run this horse?
That's it. So 3 months, 3
Yes,
weeks
she's
ago,
been a
I looked
little
at it like,
unlucky,
well, there's a
but
little bit of a desperation move that she's trying, you know what I mean, trying to get rid of this horse. But now it's almost like, listen, I don't want to sit on this horse for 4 months. I'm not sending a horse like this to Florida. Let me run this horse, try and get the money, try and get a double win, as Rudy would say.
You make a great point.
And that's it. I mean,
Took a while.
that was my last race of the week. That was my only problem with him. But on a spread ticket, I would certainly use him.
It's been a pleasure. Wish you the best of luck today.
You as well.
You'll be playing through Naira Bets, as will we.
I will be.
Because if you're not a member, you will become a member now, as you will head over to NairaBets.com, and we will match up to $200 your initial deposit if you use the promo code MATCH200. Support racing. Keep the money in the game. Support racing in New York. Play through Naira Bets. Cross Country Pick 5, the last Churchill Aqueduct Cross Country Pick 5 of the year. I don't know if we have any more scheduled, perhaps next weekend, but I do not know. Nor overly care. 3 stakes at
You look
Aqueduct,
really concerned about it,
interspersed around races 5 and 6, an hour of action. Once again, yesterday, paid over twice the parlay. The biggest prices were just around $12, 2 of them, and 1 horse in 9 to 5 and 2 2-to-1s, and it paid $1,100 for 50 cents
I
yesterday.
left Turn the Side out.
That was a good move. Well, yeah, you had to because you had to use Syaf. By the way,
I didn't use
he's at the
Syaf. I
8th
didn't
pole
know
now.
if I would have went 4, I'd have went 5 deep.
Right now.
Yeah.
And finally, we got that $25 East-West bonus. There you go.
You know where my West bonus is coming from today. Okay, I'm not playing. I mean, I don't have anybody in the third as of yet. My girl Villadera in the matrix.
She's your girl.
Of course, she's my girl. You kidding
Well,
me?
she is the luckiest horse in training. I'll give her that.
Wow.
She's been so lucky in her races, I can't believe Christophe doesn't train her.
When they load the Naira Bets account, they don't ask you if you were lucky. They just want to make sure that you had it.
You really want to go there?
I love that.
You really want to go there? Anyhow,
I'm a big fan of hers.
Johnny I will be up with a reprise of the scratches and changes in just a moment. I am going to get some tea before I head up to join Maggie to start out the final Fox edition of America's Day at the Races in 2020. Have a great day.